from the res life, big lessons for the world, dreaming big.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Willie Cheez Education Channel. My name is Delmar, and I love to write stories and read them back to you, inspiring you to learn through the power of storytelling. Through the adventures of Willie Cheez, we explore personal development, Navajo culture, ceremonies, native histories, motivation, hardship, and life lessons that will help you grow and connect with both tradition and modern life. And I'm excited to share with you on a new story called Willie Cheez and the Battle Against Alcohol, a story of heartache and hope. Part 1. A Life Shadowed by Pain. Willie Cheez sat on the steps of his small home, watching the sun dip below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and red. The beauty of the evening couldn't erase the heaviness in his heart. Life on the Navajo reservation was hard. Poverty was a constant companion, and with it came the dark shadow of alcohol. Willie had seen the effects of alcohol up close. His cousin Tommy had been a bright, talented young man with dreams of leaving the reservation and making a better life for himself. But those dreams had been slowly drowned in a bottle. Willie had watched helplessly as Tommy's life unraveled, as the alcohol took away his spark, leaving him a shell of the person he once was. Tommy wasn't alone. Many in Willie's family, neighbors, and friends were caught in the same trap. The reservation was a place of deep-rooted traditions and strong community bonds, but it was also a place where despair could take hold, where the pain of poverty and hopelessness led too many to seek solace in alcohol. Part 2. The Harsh Realities. Willie couldn't count the number of times he had seen dangerous situations unfold because of alcohol. The late-night fights that erupted outside the trading post, the crashes on the narrow dirt roads, the children left to fend for themselves while their parents drank away their sorrows. It seemed like every week brought news of another tragedy, a life lost, a family torn apart. One evening, as Willie walked home from school, he saw a familiar scene. A group of men, including his uncle, gathered around a fire, passing around a bottle. Their laughter was loud, but there was no joy in it, only a desperate attempt to drown out the pain. Willie knew what would come next. The laughter would turn to shouting, then to anger, and eventually someone would get hurt. He thought of his younger cousins, hiding in their homes, covering their ears to block out the noise, trying to pretend everything was normal. But it wasn't normal. It was a cycle of destruction, one that seemed impossible to break. Part 3. A Moment of Awakening. The turning point for Willie came one night when he found himself in the middle of a situation that would change him forever. He was walking home from a friend's house when he heard a commotion coming from the road. As he got closer, he saw that it was his cousin Tommy, drunk and stumbling, arguing with a group of men. Before Willie could intervene, the argument escalated. One of the men pushed Tommy, and he fell hard to the ground, hitting his head on a rock. Panic set in as blood pooled around Tommy's head, and the men scattered, leaving Willie alone with his cousin. Willie's heart raced as he knelt beside Tommy, desperately trying to stop the bleeding. He shouted for help, but no one came. He felt the weight of the situation crushing him, the fear, the anger, the helplessness. As he held Tommy's hand, waiting for help that seemed like it would never come, Willie made a silent vow to himself. He couldn't let this continue. He couldn't let alcohol destroy any more lives. Part 4. The Path to Healing. Tommy survived that night, but he was never the same. The head injury left him with lasting effects, and he was no longer able to work or pursue his dreams. Watching Tommy struggle every day was a painful reminder for Willie of how dangerous alcohol could be, how it could take away everything in a heartbeat. But Willie also saw something else: hope. He saw it in the eyes of his younger cousins, who still looked up to him, who still believed that things could be different. Willie knew he had to do something, not just for Tommy, but for everyone on the reservation who was trapped in this cycle. He started small, talking to his cousins and friends about the dangers of alcohol, sharing Tommy's story, and urging them to make better choices. He organized gatherings where people could come together without alcohol, where they could talk, share stories, and support each other. Willie knew it wouldn't be easy. The grip of alcohol was strong, and the problems on the reservation were deep-rooted, but he also knew that change was possible. He reached out to the elders in the community, asking for their guidance and support. Together, they started programs to help those struggling with alcohol, offering counseling, support groups, and alternative activities. Part 5. Opening Hearts and Minds. Word spread about Willie's efforts, and slowly, the community began to change. More and more people started attending the gatherings, finding comfort in the support of their neighbors. Willie saw hope rekindled in the eyes of those who had once given up, and he felt a deep sense of purpose. But the road was long, and there were setbacks. There were nights when Willie felt like giving up, when the weight of the struggle seemed too much to bear. But then he would think of Tommy, of the pain in his cousin's eyes, and he would find the strength to keep going. Willie also knew that education was key. He began visiting schools, talking to the younger kids about the dangers of alcohol, about the importance of making good choices. He shared his own experiences, his own pain, in the hopes that it would prevent others from following the same path. A light in the darkness. Years later, Willie Cheez stood in front of a room full of people, his heart full of emotion. He had seen so much pain, so much loss, but he had also seen the power of change, the power of community. The room was filled with people who had once been lost to alcohol, who had found their way back through the support of Willie and others like him. Tommy was there too, sitting in the front row, his eyes filled with pride. He had never fully recovered from his injury, but he had found peace in helping others, in sharing his story so that others might avoid his fate. Willie knew that the battle against alcohol was far from over, but he also knew that they were on the right path. The community had come together, had opened their hearts and minds to the possibility of a better future, and as Willie looked out at the faces of those he had helped, he knew that they would continue to fight, continue to hope, continue to heal. The darkness of alcohol would always be there, lurking on the edges, but so too would the light of resilience, of love, of hope. And in that light, Willie Cheez knew, they would find their way. And that's today's story from the world of Willie Cheez. I hope it sparked some new thoughts, inspired growth, or brought you closer to understanding our shared journey. Remember, every story carries a lesson, and it's up to us to live it out. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and always honor where you come from. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.
From the res life, big lessons for the world, dreaming big.